So Liz, as a dental public health expert, what do you think are, or which areas do you think have the biggest amount of pressure? No, that isn't right. You know what I mean, it's that, you know.
The biggest problems are that we focus far too much on repairing what's already happened instead of walking up the river and stopping people falling in it or being thrown into it. What I mean is a more upstream approach where we stop disease happening at root cause, and then we wouldn't end up with the healthcare problems that we do end up with people with major problems having to have large amounts of treatment. So let me give you some examples. In this country, 26,000 little children end up in hospital in acute pain, the acute pain being the reason they're in the hospital, to have body parts removed for a disease that is actually almost entirely preventable. Now, if that happened for any other disease in medicine, there would be marches on the street. And for some reason, because those children end up in pain because of a dental disease, it tends to be put to one side. And I think that's awful. I think it's awful in a civilised country that we let that happen. And there are ways of fixing it. So that needs to be sorted out. And then the other thing is the other end of the spectrum, whereby the people who have suffered the disease and are in end-state oral disease and also compromised in all sorts of other ways, which will happen to all of us. So, for example, people in residential homes who are perhaps immobile, perhaps suffering from dementia, who find it very hard to get oral care, and yet we're not doing a great deal, or we're certainly not doing enough, A, to stop them ending up in the state that they get into with their mouths, and B, just trying to do enough to maintain their oral health as best it can be. And I really believe that, you know, if you're old and you've lived a good life and you're living in a residential home, that's as important part of your dignity and your sense of self-esteem, to have a clean and presentable mouth is as important as having clean clothes and all the other things that we worry about in that age group.